excuse, man. I hate that. Like I can't expect improvements in the sequel that they said they're gonna put more money into, or quote unquote AAA it up. Like, get out of here.
If you would have played the first one, you would have known to expect these bugs.
Like, nah, I'm not rocking with that.
These bugs are a feature.
Nah, you don't have feature. Hey, they add to the mystique, the aura of the game. What's wrong with you? Hey, you know what's funny? My favorite thing was, all games have bugs. God of War had 30 patches.
Exactly, man.
What are you guys smoking? Like, seriously, seriously, whatever you're smoking, just pop.
But aren't there a few people like blaming it? People like poor internet connections. Like, get a better internet connection.
Yeah.
And then completely ignoring the people who have a great internet connection and are still having problems. Like, what? No. What you saying? I can't hear you. La 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 la. No, that guy over there with the 3 megabytes per second. That's the guy that I'm going to focus on.
Slow-mo was like, I got 100 megs up, 100 megs down, or something.
I got a gig down in 30 megs.
You're lucky, man.
And I still had headless people. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all seen me posting some of my State of Decay 2 experiences. Out there, and I bought the Ultimate Edition, so I've been playing it since day one. Not these guys.
The first one?
Yes, I'm a staunch advocate for the first one, bro. I'm ask anybody. I still play it on PC. I got the year 1 edition on the Xbox, and so I do the whole crossplay thing. The only thing they needed to do with this game was add multiplayer and fix the animations.
The animations are fine. That's a you problem.
Exactly. It's a me problem. And this is what happened. They took the same game as the first one, right? They tacked on a multiplayer. They used the same animations, everything. The characters still walk like clay animation. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my expectations are too high for what Microsoft can produce outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza. But I just assume, I don't know. Maybe it's our failure, right? Because the game that we played prior to that was God of War, and maybe we're nitpicking by pointing out all the bugs and the headless people.
And let me just say something, man. That's not nitpicking. That's like going out to the Vegas Strip with a $10,000 call girl, coming home and picking up the $8 hooker.
That's true.
You know what I mean? The expectations.
Balling on a budget, man.
Yeah. The $10,000 one, she's good. She's nice and clean. She looks good. She's presentable. The $8 one, missing teeth, but that's a you problem.
Exactly.
It's just interesting, man. I mean, like, again, we all play some janky games, and janky games can have appeal and charm and be fun or whatever, but it's just the advent of the fact that people are upset when people talk about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like you're supposed to just like, hey, no, it's just what it is. You're supposed to just accept it. Why don't you? This is the one that gets me. We talk about community, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I don't subscribe to individual communities. Like, I don't subscribe to Xbox community, PlayStation community, Nintendo. I feel like there's one gaming community. We can all talk into whatever, right?
Facts.
Then you get to, you're the Xbox community. But that's the first time they turn around and they go, well, if you're not happy, why don't you just sell your console and get out of here? Does that sound like community? If you're not happy, why don't you go find a game on another platform? Does that sound like community?
Yeah.
When people tell you to get out of gaming just because you see the game is a little janky, what does that tell you? I mean, what does that say about
dudes that made gaming sound like racism?
Yes. Yes.
Like, we don't like your kind around here.
You better not be dealing. You better not be dealing to State of Decay. You better not take a knee.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
It's interesting. And again, like I said, people who are enjoying it, that's awesome. There's nothing saying that you can't enjoy it. The bugs can actually be funny. But
I'll say
calling it out, there's nothing wrong with talking about it. Because what's funny is like dudes are like going in on the preview for Days Gone, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that game's still like a year out. But we're in the here and now with a game that's out, and now every game has bugs, and every game has patches, and it's like, That is true. We live in a world,
standard, right?
Yeah, we live in a world where we have broadband now, so developers can, fix and patch games after the fact. Nothing wrong with stability bug patches. There's nothing wrong with things that add aspects to the game. But dropping the game and saying, we'll fix it later.
Yeah,
you said it best. You wouldn't do that with a car.
Yeah.
If you got to the lot and they say, hey man, the car's ready, but it ain't got no engine in it.
Like, what the fuck?
But your payment is still due on the first. Like, what?
Wait. You know what really bugged me out? I actually heard someone say, well, if you bought the early one, what the $50 one?
Yeah, that's
the limited edition. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the ultimate edition.
Yeah, if you bought the ultimate, if you bought the ultimate edition one at $50, that's your problem. Someone actually said that.
Ain't nobody tell you to spend $50 on that game.
That almost went off on
early.
Listen,
why do you hang out with these?
Yeah, this is some crazy stuff, man. Some of the stuff that now here's the thing, right? If you spend your $50, that means that you were interested in playing that game. That means that you had good faith and goodwill on supporting this product. Now that you've supported the product, you found out that the game was lackluster and it was missing things that you thought it would have. And I mean, unfortunately, you're stuck with that. You can't get your money back like that. Trust me, I know. I tried. Again, the game is good for a Game Pass, but like any game, and people use that excuse. Oh, well, I'm having fun. I'm playing with my friends. Yeah, you know what? You can play cards and dominoes with your friends and have fun. That doesn't mean that, spending $50 at this game was worth that amount of money. And what does that tell us, right? We've already been backwards for PUBG when that game came out running 10 to 14 frames a second. We made excuses for that game, right? Prior to PUBG, everyone was like, give me 60 frames to give me death. But then PUBG dropped. Then all is forgiven for 14 frames a second. Well, so we are willing to compromise our deepest bedrock gaming morals for whatever we want if it fits our agenda, and that's just the facts.
Yeah, that's true. I have a problem like that because I feel like and I think we all agree here, if you're a real gamer, you don't put up with that kind of stuff, like these kinds of things that come up with games and make excuses and say things like all games have bugs. I mean, the problem here is that, and what I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, is that you have two other competitors who have made this commitment to quality on exclusive content, and they're delivering that quality.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's a problem for Microsoft right now.
It just highlights what Microsoft is putting out even more. When, like you said, you got the other two putting out quality games and stuff like that. It's like, well, what the hell y'all got going on over there? Like, shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, okay. First, you had PUBG. The last three games that came out, you had PUBG, you had Sea of Thieves, that was missing content, and then you have State of Decay. Yeah. That's three pretty much L's back to back. Now, don't tell me about, but they sold so many copies. It's not about money, right? It's not about counting pockets. This is about quality of gaming. This is about delivering a quality product, which you can hold high and say, I've spent my money and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. It was playable from finish to end. It didn't, have any out of experience stuff like that. So we're waiting on that from Microsoft. And the problem with that, I think the next game supposed to release is Crackdown 3. And I don't think anybody on this panel or anybody out there can honestly say with a straight face that Crackdown 3 is going to release in a proper form. We can't say that, right? We honestly can't say that.
I'm anticipating Crackdown 3, and I still can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that game is going to coming out looking good. Like, the game had a solid release date, and they still delayed it to this year. We still don't know what the hell is going on with the game.
Exactly.
We still have yet to see the multiplayer with the destruction from the reveal. Like, what the hell is going? Like, man, it's not looking good, man.
Well, it's all about benefits of the doubt. Pretty much, right? It's like, there's nothing wrong with having a loyalty to a brand or feeling like a brand has delivered to you what you want. That's a lot of people rock that way. Some people only drive Fords. Some people only buy May tags. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of comes down to the same thing. It's sort of like
I'm not buying a Ford, man.
It's garbage. I know it's garbage, right? But
no offense to anybody who owns a Ford. I'm just saying that's just not my.
Hey man, don't be talking about my car, man.
Ford.
Like, I still roll with you.
Slow-mo, what do you got? You strike me as someone who might have a Mustang, Slow-mo.
I would like to have a Mustang. I got 3 kids, man. Where are they gonna sit on the hood?
Yeah, that's not kid friendly. So, but it's like, you look at, you can typically sit back and kind of say when, Nintendo drops a game, you go, Nintendo's always been about quality. They've always been about, we're not going to drop it till it's ready.
They got that Nintendo seal of approval, that quality, that guarantees you that game will be playable from beginning to end without any game breaking bugs.
I don't think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got that quality seal. That shit.
You didn't like that on the Switch? You didn't like that?
Nah, man, that frame rate.
I heard that one was a little suspect.
Yeah,
but when it earns them because majority of the time they deliver, and most of the time Sony kind of has been delivering or whatever. That kind of gives you a little bit of, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's where you find Days Gone. No one's sitting here saying that Days Gone is going to be the next coming. No one's saying it could be like the next Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks a little spooky, but at the same time, you can sit back and go, they got time to work on it. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Remember what
Microsoft
was saying about Horizon?
Oh yeah. Oh, B, remember dudes were like, off of that one cutscene. I was about to buy a PlayStation, but I saw that cutscene and it's a wrap. I can't do it.
Right.
Really? Stop.
That shit being one of the best IPs.
Remember when Nathan Drake fell through the map at E3?
Yeah. Uncharted 4 is a wrap. It's a wrap.
The developers for Days Gone even came out and said like the game is playable from beginning to end. The next like 9 to 12 months is all polishing.
Yeah, they said it's pretty now. Not damage controlling it, right? So I mean, let's get, because people gonna say, "Oh, they damage control this game." Here's the thing, right?
Pony alert!
Exactly. Look, taking my fanboy hat off today. I'm giving it a rest. So now y'all talking to J-Dub, not Kratos. So
consumer Kratos up in here.
Exactly.
Consumer
Kratos. Here's the thing, right? This game is, they said, look, it's in pre-alpha. It's playable from beginning to end. The graphics and the gameplay in that game look a hell of a lot more appealing and a hell of a lot more realistic and interesting than it does in State of Decay. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to compare the two, but what I'm saying, for a game like State of Decay that is not a graphically intensive game in the first place, why they should have been able to spend a ton of time with fixing bugs. All they did was took the same game, added 2 more maps to it. They left everything else the same and tacked on a multiplayer, and that's it. That's all they did to this game.
I think they were dealing with 2 different issues. One is I don't think Microsoft had the budget, and even though this is Microsoft with billions of dollars, one of the richest companies in the world, but I don't think the Xbox division had the budget dedicated to this game and this project that we would expect they did. And I think the other issue is something that sometimes we tend to forget is that when a developer switches engines, it's not just like a snap of the fingers. They had to completely redo everything that they did before in Unreal Engine 4, coming from the Crytek engine. And if you got developers that don't know how to the ins and outs of Unreal, they have to learn that engine at the same time they're making the game. It just doubles development time. So it was really like, if you're going to go switch engines and have all these grand ideas and pre-production, but then you get into production and it's a whole different story. Like, some things need to be pulled back. How are you going to switch engines and your team is like 40 people? What are you doing? Those are bad decisions.
But here's the thing, right? If you're changing your engine out and you don't know how to work on this thing, you don't have enough people, why are you just going to throw a game out there and have people spending their hard-earned money for a quality product. If you know you can't deliver that quality product, delay your game or go to Microsoft and say, "Hey, look, I need more money because this, and this, and this."
Yeah,
Microsoft. You know, I think this looks worse on Microsoft than Undead Labs, right? Because people are already saying, it's a small development team, it's an indie team, yada yada yada. They're going to give that company the benefit of the doubt, but people are not going to give Microsoft the benefit of the doubt because, for one, the developer, you know, did say that no, this game is getting a AAA treatment, and this game has nothing near AAA written on it. But for two, Microsoft needed this. Their portfolio is very slim outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza.
It's very dry.
So why wouldn't they throw a couple of million in there or do what they did with PUBG? Go send the Gears team or the Halo team over there to help them get that shit together. This game had so much potential. And I think I'm more frustrated with a wasted potential than I am the bugs.
Yeah, you know, I feel you on that because I was a big
okay. So that's enough. Man. We're gonna move on to our next topic. I'm just kidding. I'm joking, man. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I was a big fan of the first one. I played it. I played it on 360. Played the year one edition on Xbox One. So, I mean, like if anyone listened to the Scumcast with J Dub on there last Saturday, I was pretty upset with the state of the game and where it's at, and I'm still playing it, but I'm not like still disappointed because like the level of enjoyment that I had with the first game, I expected to match that or better, and honestly, I feel like this is a worse game than the first game was. Yeah, the visuals may be a little bit better, but everything else about the game is worse. So obviously, the music is actually pretty good too. I think
the music is really good in the game.
It definitely sets the mood and the tone, and like even when like your base is about to get attacked, you can tell by how the music changed. You get real frantic and real horror movie, like what the hell is going on? Like, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, we getting attacked, but. Like these are things like good music that you hang your hat on some good music. Like the dude who hooked that up, good job. The rest of y'all suck. You know, like you got you gotta step the game up. Like when the voice actors sound like they about to fall asleep when they're delivering their lines, can you just run that back again and not make that the final product? Like it's so many things that I'm just like I'm playing it and I'm like this like so better in the first game, you know.
It comes across as like a finesse in a way, you know, especially when you hear, "Whoa, no, things are great, you know, revenue's up, blah 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 blah," but it's like, well, why is that not translating over into the games that you're putting out?
Yeah,
it's not translating over to quality. You know, they have a quality problem.
Yeah, you know, but it kind of goes back to what J-Dub said. It's like that it's going to be the thing because Microsoft does really, we can all say they really do listen to the small section of Twitter. You know, so if they're out there and they're seeing people saying, "Hey man, because it's always the same dudes too." It's like you can almost like set your watch to the one when a game comes out. Everybody else will be reporting on their issues, and the same dudes are like, "Well, I don't know. I didn't know. I'm not having a single issue." It's like, well, you must have a magical Xbox. You know, and
you got the gold master.
They got the gold one, man.
Yeah, you can pinpoint them every time. It's gonna be the same dudes.
Yeah,
you know. So, but it's like.
You know, I just had an image of like some of these guys playing State of Decay 2, and every time a major bug happens, they pull out that wand from Men in Black and just flash themselves. Get it happen.
Like it never happened.
Never happened. What? I just started playing. Okay.
The game runs great today.
Or you go bring up that launch game on the opposite platform and say, "See, y'all had bugs too."
Yeah, man. God of War has 30 bugs. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, God of War is a 10 out of 10 game and highly rated. So, all right, I don't want to go on too much. I don't want to spend too much time, more time, I should say, on State of Decay 2.
Yeah, because we lose subs when we do this.
Yeah, we always do stuff. No, we do. We really do. People unsubscribe to Brap. I had one guy actually tell me, and I won't say his name, that he actually unsubscribed us because we're being too harsh on Xbox.
Oh man,
can I say this? Okay, I'm a guest on the pod. I'm gonna say this. It's almost in this community right now, this small gaming community. It's like a gang, right? You have to pick your sides. You're either team green or team blue. If you are anything in between, nobody will mess with you.
No, they won't.
And that's unfortunately that's sad. You know, that's really sad.
Unless you're a female.
Well, that too, and even then, you know, it's
that has its own.
Still some, you still have some weirdos doing that, but it's just sad. You can't even go to a podcast and listen to some great gaming news and opinions by people who play games and who communicate with you. That still puzzles me to this day, right? This is why I'm on Twitter pretty much every day, teasing people and poking fun at people. The only people who get upset, right, are the people it really hurts them. Like it hurts their soul. And these are the people we're talking about.
No,
that say, oh, you said this, I'm gonna unsub because you're talking, these people.
The platform loyalists.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's move on to our first topic. And by the way, everyone, welcome to another Basement Radio Arcade podcast. We had a little rant to start the podcast. And, it was a good one. And
I picture a lot of dudes right now looking like Steven from Django.
Oh my goodness. But before we get to
moving on.
Before we get to our NPD numbers and the rest of our topics this evening, just remember we are a Tick affiliate officially, and so definitely check out the Inner Circle Network. I put the web link in the description below. Definitely check out those guys. Check out those guys. They put out great content. Big shout out to Sam Tolbert's in the live chat. Sam does some excellent reviews for Inner Circle. Sam's actually one of the individuals I probably go to first before I go to the other big media sites to read reviews. So, and of course, B Money is like a founder, I believe. It's like, aren't you? You're pretty up there in the ranks, if I'm not mistaken, B.
Day one.
Yeah.
B's the day one edition.
Yeah,
that's right.
Steal book.
Yeah, no bugs. Day one.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say he don't want bugs. The pre-patched edition.
I'm about to say you got the day one patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 90 Metacritic score.
Yep. B Money's not. Yeah, right. And so this episode of Brab's brought to you by Boar's Head Meat. You can find it at your local deli counter, your local grocery store.
I was about to say, you not serious?
No, being serious. Well, Boar's Head, it's quality meat when you're hungry. That didn't even sound right. Anyhow, so NPDs dropped this week. And speaking of Kratos, and boy, God of War took the top spot, number 1 for NPD of the month of April. And if I'm not mistaken, was the best-selling debut game for any PlayStation platform.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
It beat out Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PS2.
Yep. It beat out Gran Turismo and pretty much all other games.
I got to be honest with you guys. I'm shocked by this.
Really?
Oh, yes.
I'm not shocked at all.
No, I'm joking, man. I'm not shocked.
It just makes it funny when you look back to the reveal, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, that new direction is, what about that new direction? Is it going to work out? Are people going to fall off?" And like, the thing about that was like the game never looked bad, even with the new direction. So I'm like, it looked fantastic. It has one of Sony's best developers behind it, and we all got to play it. So it's like after that, we're like, yeah, it's gonna do big.
Yeah,
the big issue is that people don't like change.
That's true.
When they saw it was different, people freaked out because no one likes change. It's too uncertain. There's the unknown. Is this going to turn out well? But you can't like. This awesome result of being the best sold PlayStation game, like that wouldn't have happened if it was just your typical God of War game.
Yep.
So you got to take those risks. I'm hoping that Nintendo and Microsoft start taking some major risks with their big franchises. They got to, because if the gameplay is stale, you're going to start seeing sales dwindle.
Yep. Just look at the I guess a prime example would be the Call of Duty crowd, right? The people year after year, oh, I can't stand COD, I can't stand COD. But then the new version outsells the previous version. It's like, hold on, somebody's lying here. You guys are always complaining and whining, but how did this version outsell the last version?
Because they keep buying it.
But it's the vocal minority with that game that's like coming out crying. The people who buy 2 games a year, they love that. That's a quick fix. You can hop in and run around, shoot shit up. You love that.
Call of Duty and 2K.
We are the minority. We are the
Madden as well.
Yeah.
Hey, B-Buddy, you were to say something. I think you were to say something about God of War earlier.
No, I was just gonna say like the change in new direction was great for the game because like the hack and slash games, you know, people cared about Kratos to a certain extent, but I think with this game, you know what I mean, especially like the newcomers to the series really dove into the story and understood like this is big, like a big impact for you know, the game and the storytelling that it was trying to tell. So I think that's one of the major reasons why it scored so high, because you had a deeper connection to Kratos, and you definitely want to follow the story this time around. So
yeah, I agree.
But did you guys like how in the middle of the game they enabled you to go back to like the old game, so it brought back it? It brought back that. So when you got that, spoiler. Oh yeah. Without going spoilers, but it really, you know, for all those people who were on the fence about it, it was like, oh, this is too big of a change. They gave you something, and they gave you your moment to enable what you enjoyed, you know. And I thought that was just over the top. I thought it was great how they did that, and
that was nice. That was a nice nod for the fans of the series.
That put me on cloud 9. That put me on cloud 9, and that just the quality of the game. And
it had lots of bugs. What are you talking about? Quality? That 30 patches. Come on, 30 patches.
That game ended up being like bigger than I even like. I knew it was going to be like open linear kind of, but it was in there open world. Like I was like, holy shit! Like it's so much shit I'm finding, and I'm like, it's still more new locations. Like, wow.
Guys, I'm sorry I didn't mean to yell in everyone's ears. As Slow-Mo knows, Slow-Mo is a fellow resident of the DMV. The Caps are the Eastern Conference Finals right now against the Tampa Bay Lightning's Game 7. They just scored.
Wait, how much time is left in the game?
They're only in the second period, 11 minutes.
But I know how hockey is.
I know. Don't say it.
This is big.
Look. As a DMV resident, you would know with DC sports. Until that clock is at 0, it means nothing.
Hey, all I gotta hey, you know what, man? All I gotta say, Slow-Mo, is Angel was garbage.
You're not gonna go rehashing that. Look, Enrique's just mad because I'm trying to look. I got the box of tissues ready. I got them all ready for them. When the Caps let them down again, I'm just gonna pass the box over and be like, "It's all right, bro." Again.
No, but no, it's back on as far as God of War goes. That change paid off for them in a big way.
Yeah.
And what's funny is 10 minutes into the game, did anybody think about jumping?
No, I didn't think about it one time.
That does prove though we tend to cry and whine about things before we get our hands on something. So that, you know, that was like the biggest thing that people talked about. Oh, I can't jump. Oh, I can't jump this. It's like, look, these guys did this game right, and because they, for one, they brought the game from last gen to a new current gen, remade it. Now they're able to have more sequels down the pipeline. This is how you rebuild a franchise. Keep it from getting stale, and it adds on to the previous development talent. I think more companies are going to be doing that. And I do think Microsoft has taken note, and I do think that they will eventually let some of their previous studios do some other work. You know,
it's just not going to. We're not going to see that this gen. It's going to be a next gen.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time.
So back to NPD, guys. It looks like it's now number 3 on the best-selling games of 2018, behind Capcom's Monster Hunter World, which is number 2 right now, and Ubisoft's Far Cry 5, which is at number 1.
And those are multi-plats. Those are released on all the platforms. For an exclusive to do that, that's huge.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. Let's go through the top 10 or top, I should say 20 for games April 2018. Obviously, we know God of War number 1, Far Cry 5 is number 2, and will be 2018. The Show is number 3.
Yes,
that game's doing very well. Yeah,
great game.
The show always does that though.
Yeah, it always does really good.
Well, they're only game in town, really. I mean, there's no one's really making baseball games like that or sim baseball games anymore. So, the number 4 was Labo Variety Kit. Well, look at that.
Nintendo eating, man.
So some cardboard got higher than a lot of these other games.
Yeah, that's right. And number 5 is Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. 6 Mario Kart 8, 7 Grand Theft Auto 5. How does that game? What did
that game won't die?
That's it.
I think when Red Dead come out, we'll still see Grand Theft Auto 5 in like the top 10 here and there.
Oh yeah,
that's wrong. Be higher than Red Dead.
I'm afraid next generation we're gonna have a Grand Theft Auto 5 remaster of a remaster.
It's gonna be the next Skyrim,
right?
Yeah, that's crazy. I still can't believe that.
I think didn't they just announce that game is like past 95 million or something?
Yeah, it's past 90 million.
Yeah,
is it the best-selling game of all times?
It might be.
Yeah. I think it's up there. I don't know if it.
Man, that's 90.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah,
it's past Gran Turismo, which was Sony's highest selling franchise. I think they were at 80 something million.
Yeah, so that one game sold more than the whole Gran Turismo franchise.
Yes. All the way. We're talking about all the way from PS1 days.
Wow,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like Rockstar can't even lie to people and lay them off.
Yeah.
We short it. We short it. Like, why am I losing my job? We charted, man.
Exactly.
Wow. Sam in the live chat says only behind Tetris and Minecraft.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
No doubt.
That's pretty impressive company.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nobody messing with Minecraft, man. That's gonna go on for generations.
Yeah, Minecraft is just a behemoth. That thing's
just wait till E3 till y'all see Minecraft 2.
Wow.
If it ain't got a 4K mode, I ain't with it.
You're funny. Super Mario Grand Theft Auto is 7. Call of Duty World War II is 8. Super Mario Odyssey is 9. Look at Nintendo, man. I mean, Nintendo has 1, 2, 3, 4
games. I think.
Yeah,
So
4 in the top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. Nintendo's having a hell of a console gen.
Yeah, that's one thing you can count on with Nintendo is like people will support their IPs.
Yeah.
We could say what we want about the hardware, but people go out and buy those games, man.
Yeah, IP, the games are right. Again, they're of quality. It may not be your cup of tea, but those games are playable from beginning to end, and you just have fun with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts, yeah. And then PUBG. I'm sorry, NBA 2K18 was 10. PUBG was 11. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands was 12. Another Nintendo game, 13. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Look at that. Yeah, Monster Hunter World was 14. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six was 15. A Way Out was 16. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, was 17.
Yeah. But was that Siege? You said Rainbow Six.
Yeah, Rainbow Six.
Yeah, Siege.
Man, Siege is
still going.
Siege is. I'm gonna keep saying this. It is the console version of Counter-Strike.
Yes,
It's just going.
Yes.
Yep.
That game is so awesome. Like, I would recommend anybody play it. Just try it out. And it's
garbage.
It's whatever. Ricky probably got wrecked. It has a learning curve. Like, I mean, you're not gonna be just pick it up in a weekend and be like, having like 6 kills in a match. Nah.
Lucas says you're garbage at it too.
You got to find a character on there that you can rock with and just roll with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Ubisoft has like 4 or 5 games on this list, right? That's impressive.
Hey, slow-mo. Doesn't that prove our argument?
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay.
Ubisoft is the best publisher, third-party publisher this gen.
I say so. I say so, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think they're the best because not only do they release quality content, but they release like 5, 6, 7 games a year.
A year, not just one hit a year. We're talking about like they throw a bunch of them things out there and they do good. So I mean,
how many new IPs have they dropped this gen compared to most other publishers?
It's hard. I mean, you're gonna have to The Division.
I disagree with you guys. I think EA is the best. Just leave it
oh my god!
But it's not just that they have quality content and a lot of it, but even when a game doesn't live up to expectations, they don't give up on that game.
They bounce back.
And it almost like reinvents the game like later on. And this is why Siege is selling still now, because in the beginning it was getting killed.
Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands was literally my best game, voted my game of the year last year.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, really? It was. I mean, I'm a huge Ghost Recon fan. Huge Ghost Recon fan.
All right, we might have to play some Wildlands one day.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Wildlands, it plays much better.
I love like this the bullet drop in it. It's got realistic.
Hey man, I'm an expert sniper, so like that's literally what I love doing. Just laying down, sit back, picking people off. But my biggest disappointment with Ubisoft is they cancel the Rainbow Six game, the Patriots or whatever. Hopefully next generation, hopefully next generation be able to pick that up and do something with it.
Yeah.
Would you guys say that like Ubisoft took?
Hey, let me finish the list real quick, Eric.
You know what? I'm about to kick you off your own damn podcast.
Trying to move this thing along, man. Trying to move this thing along.
Go for it.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of people here, so I just want to make sure everyone gets and we get to the topics. So 18, Sea of Thieves. 19 Kirby Star Allies, and 25th of 2018. So there you go. All right, that's it. That's the list. So
all them one and done games really racked up, huh?
Yeah, man.
Oh wow, not like this. All right, so how many of you guys caught the Battlefield 5 reveal today?
I watched it.
I did.
Yeah, I tried watching it, and I just couldn't finish watching. It was just too boring for me.
They had to do a lot of talking and discussing. By the way, I was very surprised to see Trevor Noah hosting it. That was weird. But they had to do a lot of explaining because I understood it when I watched it because I'm like, I mean, they're published by EA. There's a lot of with everything that's happened with Battlefront 2, they need to get their community as well as the casuals that kind of pretty much have written their game off already to understand that like everything that happened before, we're trying to turn over a new leaf. Don't think about that. Look, there's going to be no pay to win. There's going to be none of that other stuff. Look, don't worry about it. Just play the game and have fun. And so I understood that why they spent so much time talking and trying to, get the message out because if they just went straight to let's just go ahead and just show some gameplay. There's still a lot of questions that people will have. Like, are you using that algorithm that's going to, have me match against people that are better than me so that, they're convincing me to try to, purchase microtransactions? Like getting that stuff out of the way was good, I think.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. What they showed,
excuse me,
I can literally say that's all in game. That's all play. I mean, because that DICE engine, man, they always make beautiful games with that.
Yeah, Frostbite. Yeah.
So I think we're over the days where they kind of trick you. Only Ubisoft still does that. You never know what you're gonna quite get on graphics. Cough, cough. Watch Dogs.
True.
That was some time ago. That was take Assassin's Creed Origins, right? Like when we saw that last year, the game looked just like that.
That's true.
So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. based off of recent events. I'm gonna say, hey, you know, maybe that whole downgrade after the E3 reveal is past them. Hopefully,
because so many people got in their ass for that.
Oh yeah, right. People was like,
they had no choice. They under a microscope now. Like,
what is this?
That was like one of the first games that we saw that was supposed to be like next gen. So we saw the game super early, and you know they had to kind of scale it back a little bit. So I can't fault them too much for that.
You know, I wanted to say something about something that J-Dub said about DICE and the Frostbite engine. I think it's real interesting. I was actually talking to someone about this earlier today because I've been reading up on a lot of I've been reading a lot of books and up on game development and stuff. And so I think it's interesting that so DICE created the Frostbite engine. But if you look at the way their game looked, people were really at this Battlefield 5 trailer. People were looking at like, is that in game or is that a cutscene? What like the way how good it looked?
Yeah.
With BioWare's Anthem is running that too. Everyone saw how that looked last year. But here's
Battlefront. I mean that's proven, right?
Yeah. But the interesting thing is that I believe, and this might be a little out there, but I believe BioWare deserves more credit for the Frostbite engine than DICE at this point. When I've read some stuff that shows that like when BioWare started with Andromeda and Dragon Age Inquisition, that the Frostbite engine was so completely incomplete. Basically, it was just used for first-person shooters, and they're making an RPG. You need more facial animations. Like all these tools and stuff weren't available, and they spent years working and developing that engine so that like now it is what it is today. It at least should be like considered like a development thing, like you know, DICE and BioWare.
I agree.
Yeah. You know, Frostbite was intended to be used for just the destruction in Battlefield, and that's kind of why they introduced it, and that's why you go way back to Battlefield 2 and you see buildings and stuff blowing up. You know, what I mean, you see that in any other game. So that's kind of what they were using that engine for, and it's just matured over time. And they even use that in their sports games. Madden uses it now. If you look at Madden 2018, like it looks a lot better compared to like the older games, and FIFA does too. So it's definitely matured over time, and it looks amazing.
This gen has become the generation of publishers getting their own game engines instead of everyone licensing from Epic and Unreal like last gen. Like damn near every game was Unreal Engine 3. And they all look the same. And now it's like everybody's like, especially when Epic got a little crazy and wanted percentages of people's revenue off these games, everybody's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was a little shocked seeing Days Gone go with the Unreal Engine, because usually Sony, like first party games, have their own engine developed. So
and they got the
rumor had it was they were deep into the game already with Unreal before the Guerrilla Games engine, the
Decima engine?
The Decima was fully fleshed out. So I think that's why. I think right now, like the Decima engine is like the go-to engine.
I think it's nice.
That saves a lot of time.
It's fire. It's a great engine, and it doesn't tax the CPU. These underpowered CPUs we got, it doesn't tax that too much. It's the perfect engine for this generation. And it just seems like everyone's got their own one. So but I'm pretty sure Epic's not complaining. They got Fortnite.
And Hideo Kojima, remember when Sony brought him in, they said, look, you can go to any one of our studios and get whatever you want. It's like, just have a buffet. He went around to every single Sony studio, looked at their engine, looked at everything, and decided on the Decima engine. So it's something about that engine that he saw that it was like, hey, I got to have this. So,
yeah. But going back to like the Battlefield 5 reveal, I watched it, the whole thing, and I feel like when I finished it, I feel like they really didn't even need to do that whole 30-minute reveal event. It was cool to see them finally like show off the trailer at the end, but most of the stuff that they were talking about, I felt like they could have kind of just dropped off in the blog post and kind of kept it moving with the day. like we didn't get to really see much of the multiplayer, of course, because we're gonna have to wait for EA Play for that. But like they were talking about some of the modes, like how they're expanding on the operations, which is a mode from Battlefield 1. Like that was cool to hear. I guess there's now going to be like you're going to be able to fortify things. So like if things do get blown up, you can build them back up.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I thought that was like a little cool twist to the game because they're like at certain points, like battlefields got so destroyed that it was nothing around and you couldn't even advance because it was just straight firefight as soon as you spawned in. So
is this game gonna, with that being said, will this game be a lot, not the single player, but the multiplayer, would it be a lot slower and not over the top? Because this type of game has always been that over the top Michael Bay type, bombs everywhere, explosions everywhere. Now, if you're telling me they got base building and stuff like that, it's going to take some time for you to do that.
Yeah, you would think that, but when they showed that trailer, it seemed like everything was still over the top. I think that was part of single player or maybe
single player. Yeah, that must have. Yeah, that must have been that. But it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for this game. It's a day one buy. But I'm really hoping their next game is Battlefield Bad Company. I think it's way overdue.
Oh yeah,
everybody been waiting for that.
And that's the game that originally brought us the total destruction in the buildings and stuff like that.
It did.
That started it all.
Eureka Harbor was like one of my favorite multiplayer maps in that game.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think about? By the way, sorry, I was having mic issues or something. What do you guys think about the World War II setting, considering this is a year after Call of Duty went back to World War II?
I was just getting ready to ask that. I personally was hoping that they would go modern, but because with the World War I setting, multiplayer-wise, like I really enjoyed the story. But multiplayer-wise, it got to a point where the lack of attachments and like guns, it kind of got stale really fast, or faster than I would hope it would. World War II, you definitely get more options, and seeing that, I'm like, all right. But I was kind of hoping they would go modern.
Look, World War I had the most boringest guns. So I mean, let's face it, those guns.
The guns were limited. Yeah.
World War II, they obviously they amped it up over the top, and that's when you got your big machine guns and all that stuff. And then obviously modern times.
Didn't you like the way though they set up the storyline in World War I? Kind of how you went to like different parts of the world and got to experience different parts of the war, different stories.
Yeah, and they said they're bringing that back too for this one.
Yeah, that's good.
I was happy to hear that.
Yeah, you get to see a bunch of different theaters of the war. So I mean, I think that's great. Yeah, but I'm looking at this trailer right now over and over, and I'm telling you guys, this is fire.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is fire.
Yeah. What do you guys think about them ditching the premium pass? That's been like a staple of the last couple of Battlefields. I mean, I would look.
That's huge, man.
Yeah,
absolutely huge.
You think
I would double dip Battlefield on launch day every year, and I buy the premium for both games every year. So I was spending almost $250 on Battlefield the day it dropped. So without having premium, that's great. That saves me another $100. Put that towards some other games. Red Dead comes out the week after it. So,
oh, that's right. I forgot Red Dead comes out a week after. Oh,
yeah, that whole like October is crazy with the heavy hitters.
Yeah, hey B, I'm gonna have to hit you up for some advice though, man, because number 4 will be here by then.
Oh yeah,
we have to figure. I'm gonna have to talk to you, man. Figure out how to juggle 4 now, and try to get some gaming in, man.
It's definitely tough, but you can make it happen.
Yeah. So and no loot boxes either. Look at that, no loot boxes.
I think they were scared of what happened with Battlefront. Now they're gonna they toned it down right now. They're talking the right talk now, but once the game drop, I want to see about a month later if they start.
Right.
You know one of the things. I'm sorry. Go ahead, B.
No, I think they're gonna stick with this model at least for this game entirely. EA definitely has to like bounce back, and I think Battlefield is a big enough franchise for them where they couldn't afford to like fuck it up basically. I mean, like Battlefront is cool. Like, they took their L on that, and they kind of got to deal with Disney and that relationship. But Battlefield is their own product. Mass Effect is basically thrown to the wayside right now, which was their other big pillar. So if they took Battlefield out, then they pretty much just had Madden. So they have to show that goodwill and keep the community invested, because with other games that are out there like the Call of Duties, like PUBG, Fortnite is huge right now. Like everybody's playing those games. You can't take the risk of losing that community too.
Yeah, with worldwide, FIFA sells more than Madden. I mean, obviously,
it does.
But like, I think
okay,
it was.
Clack, we need you to wrap up, man.
Look, what they do. I mean, he's crazy with the kind of money they make off these microtransactions. Take Madden, FIFA, the ultimate team microtransaction stuff. This is $4 billion. They made $4 billion off of that last year.
Jeez.
$4 billion just off of that. That's not talking about game sales.
Yep.
That's just off the microtransactions. So all their games this year bombed. They're still making a profit.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be day one for me. I've always been a big fan of the Battlefield series, and one of the things I liked is even with the destruction mode, they have one of the character classes now can actually build like foxholes and fortify like buildings and stuff now.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool because you didn't have that before. It was kind of lopsided. Like we talked about Battlefield Bad Company 2. I mean, I remember Eureka Harbor. You go up there with the Abrams tanks, start leveling buildings. It was a wrap. They got like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, running for your life at that point.
Yep. So.
I looked at the whole reveal trailer and the whole stream, and this is probably the first time in a while that I'm considering giving Battlefield a shot. I played Battlefield 4, and everyone knows about that launch and how completely broken things were, and I was just kind of turned off at that. But now I'm kind of
bugs, man. All games have bugs.
It was the internet.
Sounds like you promised your internet.
I know it was my internet. It must have been my internet. Wow.
You need some more mocap.
More mocap. Oh my god, that's crazy.
The things that we've heard people say, man.
This console war shit is someone needs to do a movie. It's so priceless.
I know.
Yeah,
but aren't you entertained though? I mean, you got to be entertained.
Well, I gotta say this. Kratos. She provides some good entertainment. You get in there and clearly you're trolling people. They fall for it every time. I'm like, what is
too easy, man?
It's too easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, what platform are you guys gonna purchase this on? Battlefield 5.
I think this one here, I may go ahead and get on the X, man. I think
me too.
This one I can't have any compromises. Hopefully 4K 60. If not, then we'll see. It may be a PC buy, but again, most of my friends are on PlayStation, Xbox. So
yeah.
See, Xbox got that marketing too. So
yeah, they do have the marketing.
That's true. I always buy my multi-plats now that I have a 1X on the X, because it's just generally it's going to looking usually have a higher frame rate, a consistent frame rate. So I have a Slim. I don't even have a Pro. So
you don't have a Pro. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll probably get this on PC. I'll pick that up on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get X.
Yeah,
that's where I get most of my multi-plats now anyway. So, what about you, Eric and B Money? What do you guys are gonna get on the X too?
Yeah, most likely. I'll get mine on the X.
I'm living that double dip life, man. Always.
Word.
Everybody catching that L no matter where we at. You know what I mean?
B, I love that about you, man. That you pick up like shooters or like games on both consoles.
Yeah, because we were talking about Destiny, and he double dipped on that too.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
We all did, actually.
Yeah, we all did. And I haven't gone back to that game since. That's another conversation. So, all right. So, Battlefield 5. Oh, so let's get to Sony E3 2018. Our predictions. As we know from a first-party perspective, they're only showing 4 games. That's right, 4 games. They'll be showing The Last of Us 2, Ghost of I can never pronounce this one.
Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. They'll be showing God, what's the game we just talked about?
Days Gone.
Days Gone, thank you. And what's the fourth game?
Spider-Man. Wait, no.
They're not showing Days Gone.
No, Days Gone was in there.
Yeah. They said
They're showing Death Stranding,
Spider-Man 2,
Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Now keep in mind.
Well, they said that they're deep diving on those games.
Yeah, those are the ones they're going to spend the most time on. That's not going to be all that they show. And I think people kind of freaked out, but they never read the next paragraph.
Right.
Which is usual.
Exactly.
First sentence.
No, that's not gonna. Yeah, you're right. That's not gonna be the only content they show.
Let me go ahead and get after you about this headline that you put out here.
but I do think that from here on out, right, if we expect the big over-the-top news of the new hardware, it's going to be at PSX. It won't be at E3.
Wow, I can do that. I can see that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they will announce anything about PS5 this year. Anyway,
no, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be
they'll do it after I think probably 2019 holiday.
You think so? I think it's going to be earlier than the holiday. I think what they want to do, because you got to realize, right, the 25th anniversary of PlayStation for Sony in Japan is 2019. In the 25th anniversary here in the United States, 2020. They're going to do something within those 2 days. They won't wait to 2021. There's no reason for them to do that.
Yeah, that's why I think they announced it at PSX holiday 2019.
Yeah,
and then 2020 release. I wouldn't even be surprised if it released in February. That's
really
release.
Kind of like March, right? That's where the quarter begins or something like that. Or
did the original one release like February, like you said, or March or something?
Yeah,
just like the Switch, right? That's the Japanese. They're the beginning of their fiscal quarter or something like that, and they always want to do that. So.
And look, we know consoles can sell well in March. I mean, Switch is an example of that. And you got
actually all three of the consoles are selling pretty decently. Well, more than what they were selling in previous years this year in the first quarter. So I think this year has really proved that you can sell in the first quarter. You don't have to try to pack everything into the holiday season.
That's true. I honestly think, guys, that the holiday season is overrated.
Yeah.
And I think, for one, Switch that has proven it, right? They sold more copies the first months and even in the summertime and even in the fall that they did Christmas time. They didn't even win the PlayStation, right? Won the NPD in the holiday time. Yeah. Holiday time. So I think the holiday is good for the casuals who receive games and stuff like that on their birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. But for the most part, people buy games year round. And this is why so far, as of last year, 2017 was very different because we really released games like every single month from Sony. It was like every single month, sometimes 2 and 3 games a month. This year alone, we had the Ni no Kunis, the MLBs, the God of Wars, and the Yakuzas and all that stuff on and on and on. And we're gonna, 2 days you got gone. Yeah, Detroit becomes human, and then that's going to be other things. And so I think you can sell a game if it's a good game. It's going to sell no matter where you launch it.
Yeah. You give those games a chance to breathe when you put them out, like in these months where people don't normally expect them to be out. Yes. Like God of War being out in April versus being out in the holiday, like going up against like a Call of Duty. Like, not saying it's not going to sell well still, but you can maximize the the potential, and control like the narrative better. Put it out.
It's less competition for a game that might get overshadowed by bigger IP. I think around like quarter 1 and 2 is probably the best time to launch a new IP because there's less competition. And I mean, and actually in quarter 1 and quarter 2, you got people getting their tax returns back.
Yep.
Another big thing. So people have the money, disposable income, whether they should spend it or not. They got the money to spend on maybe a new system or a new game. And we've seen a lot of new IPs launch in that time period and do really well. Whereas if they launched in September or October, it just would have been
drowned out.
Yeah, drowned out. I feel like the next Titanfall needs to launch early in the year and not be launching around the same time as Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Oh, that was so stupid.
Because didn't the first Titanfall launch in like March or April or something?
March.
Yeah,
but it was close to was Titanfall a launch game or not?
No, shortly after launch.
Shortly after.
Yeah, because it came around time Infamous came out. I remember that.
Yeah. It's they can't release another Titanfall game in that time frame again. That was so dumb. It killed it. It killed it in sales.
Yeah, it was a good game too. A really good game. No one really gave it a shot.
No,
it was sandwiched. I think it was like sandwiched in between Battlefield and Call of Duty too.
Yep.
Which is one of EA's games. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
So stupid.
Well, don't forget the boycott, right? With Titanfall 2, the boycott. I'm not going to buy it because it's no longer exclusive.
The blue disc. Was that the game that had like the blue disc?
Yeah, that was. Call it Discgate. We call it Blue Disc game.
That's hilarious. So, what do you guys hope to see from some? Because these are very big franchises, and I'm surprised. By the way, I'm surprised Death Stranding's up there because the joke with Kojima games that they take like 10 years to develop.
Oh yeah,
but remember,
they said that this game is moving along a lot quicker than people expected to.
So. People don't realize, right? The longest part of making a game is building your engine.
I was just about to say that.
So if you have an engine already, it literally only takes about 2 years for you to build the game. Most games, if you build your engine from scratch, it takes about 2.5 to 3 years just for the engine alone. And then from there, if the engine it's great, it's optimized, then you can start with all your assets and build the game. But I mean, Kojima kind of walked in, he got handed a freaking hard drive with all the code and everything on it. So all he had to do was just put his touch on it and build a game. So this game is definitely gonna, I think it's gonna release.
Guys, I gotta ask you something, guys. What is this game? What is this game about? This game.
Nobody knows.
It's Kojima. You're not supposed to know.
They should call it. You know what this game looks like? This game looks like a bad acid trip. They should call this game Molly.
That's true.
I'm about to.
When I seen the baby in the throat, I lost my damn mind. Like, what the hell is going on in this goddamn game, man?
Norman Reedus already said he's in the game and he doesn't know what it's about. So,
hey, J-Man, Irrelevant Native mistakes you for Kofi.
I think that a lot, especially with the Avatar picture, man.
Yeah, no, it's not. Sorry to disappoint. It's not Kofi Irrelevant.
Hey, man, we don't all look alike.
That's Irrelevant. What are you trying to say?
He was just say, hey, it's Eric. No, it's Brandon. No, it's Craig.
You know what's funny? I'll never forget. Speaking of Kofi, he did. What was it? Was it Sea of Thieves? He did that playthrough, and he was sleeping with a pillow or something.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm like, this dude is a fool.
Let's just say a couple people from Microsoft blocked him for that. Yeah, man.
He got blocked from people from Microsoft?
He got blocked by some people for that. Some people who even liking that got blocked. I was like, damn.
Why would people from Microsoft block him?
Listen, man. People get sensitive about stuff like that. Some people, say it was the next PUBG, felt some type of way.
Yeah. Hey, Sam actually gives us some insight here into Death Stranding. He said it's about an eldritch creature being stranded on Earth and altering the ecosystem by its existence. He says a Death Stranding literally refers to when sea life is beached and stranded. Sam, that's probably that just made perfect sense to me.
Yeah, with all the stranded whales and fish and
the babies, sand, and
wow.
All right, Sam. Sam, are you working on this game? Is this something you're telling us?
No, Sam speaks Kojima.
That is a language, though. Like,
Kojima's on stage is like Sam's like, I understand you. I know what you're working on.
Yeah. I just really hope that we're gonna get the chance to see gameplay for this game at E3. Because a deep dive from Kojima could literally be an hour of cinematics.
Right.
Like that's like the only game out of that list where I'm like, a deep dive could really mean no gameplay at all. Yeah, because everybody, like, we know it's going to be a deep game. It's Kojima. It's going to have layers to it. It's going to have so many fan theories. I mean, there's theories now that it's like a prequel to Metal Gear. Like, it's so many, so many crazy theories going around. We just kind of want to see what it's going to play like and what we can expect from the gameplay aspects.
Are you guys worried that they've given him too much creative freedom? Like, this may be one of the games where it's like, hey, Kojima,
exactly what I want, man.
But I don't. I mean, like, this worries me a little bit. I feel like here's what I'm worried about. It's like, like you have these creative guys who have put out great content, and then but there's always been someone to kind of check them a little bit because sometimes their ideas are a little bit too outside the box and it doesn't work.
And they need to be reined in.
Yeah, and exactly. And no one's ringing. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but
exactly. Here's the thing.
But I'm sure if I spend some time to research it, but there's examples out there, people who have who've done very creative things, and then they go out and do their own thing, and then there wasn't anyone to rein them in, and I can't give you examples right now, but I'm sure they exist.
Kanye West.
Yes, Kanye West. Thank you, Kanye West.
That's a good.
He's still successful though.
Yeah.
So
with Kojima though, is like, I feel like when Konami did start the rein them in is when we got like Metal Gear Solid 5 and how that
game was trash.
Not being finished. Yeah, I was like, nah, that's not it.
Ryan Landis, wait, real quick. Ryan Landis said George Lucas.
Oh yeah, that's a great example.
That's possible. Mm-hmm. But it's just it's all in the eye of the beholder. But at the end of the day, I think the great thing about Sony, right, as far as their development team, they let these guys come up with their own ideas. They let them do their own thing. They don't stand over them and you got to get this done now. Like,
no, but
we've heard these horror stories coming from.
But this game seems so weird to me, though. Like it's
Kojima, man.
I know it's Kojima.
What did you expect? Okay, you've played all the other Metal Gear.
I have, but I mean, but there was that. But the
crazy stuff going on in those games. So this is going to be times 10.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
that's not a good thing to me. Like I'm have to be the contrarian here. And
I'm with you, Slow-Mo. I'm with you, Slow-Mo.
Pull knives out on me.
Hey, real quick, guys. Real quick, Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo. Before you go there, I got to pause for this station interruption. This rant by Slow-Mo is brought to you by Boar's Head Meats.
Hey, real talk. I really think he got an endorsement deal. He's just not telling us. He's just not telling us.
Boar's Head is giving him that money, man.
This is third time.
He got PayPal statements.
Full of Boar's Head meat.
We might have to talk, man.
He's like, we have to talk.
Old deep freezer full of Boar's Head. Like, what over there, man?
Got a lifetime supply, man.
I just want to temper this Kojima love fest we got. I am not a Kojima fan. He makes good games.
Oh, he does make good games.
They are just not for me. Like, I like the first Metal Gear Solid. I really enjoy that. Ever since after that, I've been kind of okay. That's all right. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm like.
The opening Metal Gear Solid 5
trash.
Some of the stuff is just so weird. I'll be like, "What the?"
I have
so you didn't like Snake Eater or Twin Snakes?
Oh, Snake Eater was so good.
I liked all of them.
Yeah,
games are amazing.
Zone of the Enders.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is that, like, I feel Enrique on the Kojima Unleashed. Like, I mean, like. Every trailer that he's released, I've been like, what the hell is going on? Baby in a man's mouth? What the hell? Like, and I'm like, and people are like, yes, that's what I want. And I'm like, do you even know what you're going to play? It could be Tetris. You don't even know. No one knows what the hell is happening here.
Yeah, Kojima, he's a superstar at this point. Like,
yeah, he's a rock star. He's definitely
he can't do no wrong.
It is literally my most anticipated thing of E3 because I don't know what the hell is going on. So I'm like, you know what? I have to see this. Mm-hmm. Is it a third person shooter? Is it a first person shooter? Is it a platform?
Well, he said it's third person.
Yeah, no, Kojima is it's a third person. Yeah, I put it like this. If I'm Sony, I'll gamble on that. I'll gamble on allowing him, to just go and try to make something. Because if it turns into that thing, then you're on the right side of history. Like you got a Kojima that's just come out of like being stifled creatively.
Yeah.
And going through and kind of coming through like.
But was he stifled creatively? I mean, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think
listen, the mere fact that Silent Hill got canceled, and that was probably, when people saw that trailer, that Silent Hill trailer, they fell out their seats. I mean, that could have.
Everybody was playing it. Everybody was streaming it.
Yes, the PT demo.
And this is why
that was a special moment right there.
Absolutely, but this is why I feel like he was stifled creatively. Every time Kojima dropped a Metal Gear, he would say, "This is my last Metal Gear."
Yes, and
I think somebody at Konami was saying, "Just we just need one more from you, and then you can go work on whatever you want to work on." And I wholeheartedly believe that Metal Gear Solid 5 was not meant to be Metal Gear Solid 5.
Listen, he got death threats. I remember the article and stuff. He got death threats when he said that this was going to be his last one, or the one prior to the last one. He got death threats. He did not want to do them anymore. He wanted to do something else.
Yeah, and I think the ideas in Metal Gear Solid 5 were for something else, and then they were like, "Nah, we got to pivot and make this a Metal Gear Solid, Solid game." That's why it kind of was it was way off or way different than what we're used to from a Metal Gear game.
That opening was interesting,
but the core mechanics of the Metal Gear Solid 5, it kind of like lets you just kind of go off into the world and do what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So
where's Roach?
But even look at the aftermath. Because Konami probably would have done a lot better by not putting Metal Gear on that Survive game. Call it something else completely.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But they can't get. All Konami wants is, hey, we just want the thing that'll make us money.
Right.
Hey, big shout out to Ryan Landis. Says maybe we play as the throw baby.
The gameplay is you're trying to climb out of the esophagus.
That's so crazy, man.
A dude that's a kindred spirit with Guillermo del Toro, I'm down with that.
Why listen to with Kanye West playing in the background?
I don't know what your Achilles role is, but
I'm convinced he in the game, man.
That dude is birds.
You talking about Guillermo del Toro is in the game?
No.
Oh,
well, yeah, del Toro's in the game, but I'm saying, talk about like two. I would love to know what their conversations are like. Those two guys.
It must sound like two dudes just high out of their minds. It has to. I don't know.
I guess as a creative, I just look at what I'd be like. I'm just curious. Like, let guys like that just go and create.
Yeah, I put it like this, right? With people like that, sometimes it's better to just let them go off and do their own thing. Mm-hmm. That's when their creative juices flow. Now, if this game flops, then yes, his next one, I'd be like, hey, we're gonna we didn't give y'all this money, and we didn't get our return on investment. But if this thing turns out to be a hit, which the worst it can do is Metal Gear 5. That's the worst it can do, right?
Yeah.
So at least that's a great start.
Or the worst that they could do is they actually show Death Stranding gameplay, and people still don't know what the game's about.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Regardless, that is going to happen, man.
She was going to bankrupt PlayStation.
Yeah, literally. Well, I'll tell you this though. It's like Kojima, like. You never know about his games until you play them, and then you never figure out what the hell's going on until you're halfway done with it.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
That's just what it is. So,
and then there's always Wikipedia; they'll explain it to you.
Or just like what's his name just said in the comment section. He seems to kind of know what's going on in the game.
Oh, you talking about Sam?
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah. I think Sam's giving the best. Sam's giving the best explanation of the game.
Yeah.
So far that I've heard, because I'm still like scratching my head. I saw, the baby, the throat, the thumbs up. I'm like, whoa, what's like? That's just I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I think this game is either going to be like well received, and they're going to be like Kojima is a creative genius, he's the Picasso of gaming, or this one's going to be like, yeah, we might need to have a conversation.
Gonna be one or the other.
Yeah. So interesting. What about I tell you what, I am really interested to see Death Stranding, but I'm really hyped for The Last of Us 2.
Oh yeah.
That
is what I'm gonna call it. Whether you're an Xbox guy, Nintendo guy, whatever. One thing about Death Stranding, The Last of Us, is everybody and their mom is anticipating this game. That first game got you hooked. It got you emotionally involved. And when they revealed at PSX, this was 2016. Me and my kids and my wife, we were sitting on the couch watching this. And when my daughter saw the firefly symbol on the tree, she said, "Dad, firefly." And all of a sudden we all stood up, we were yelling, hugging each other, crying. It was a freaking family event to have that. And it's something emotional about that game where the storytelling and the action, it's like, I've never played a game like that, man. It's just nuts.
Yeah, they did
literally nuts.
They did a great job, like getting you emotionally connected to those characters.
Yes,
and you just so eager to see what the next chapter is, or what's, especially the way that thing ended. You like, Lord have mercy. Yes. Like, why did it have to end right here? Like, we are so eager to see what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. And this one has a darker tone to it. And with
the trailers, man, they cranked up everything like by 100, man.
At PSX, Neil Druckmann said that the first game was about love.
I was just about to say
this one here is about hate. So it's definitely going to be a lot darker. You saw from the trailer, freaking breaking, hanging people and breaking arms, and geez, I can't wait for this game. I literally think that this game is probably. It's gonna crank it up to the max, man. I don't think it's gonna be able to handle it.
Like Jay, even that first reveal trailer, just look at Ellie's like her look.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the expression just looked like somebody who's been through a lot.
And then when Joel walked in,
around.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But then when Joel walked in, like the whole crowd, everybody just went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
When they saw that silhouette walk through the house, it was.
Do y'all think Joel is dead?
I don't know, man. It's just all these things. He could be dead.
I don't think
maybe she was just daydreaming that, or maybe that was him. And we just don't know the backstory, right?
I think he gets killed off.
Yeah, that's
I think he gets killed off,
but he will die.
I think he'll die. And
Joel is kind of old. He's probably in his 50s.
Yeah.
That kind of world is just accelerated.
He's been shot. He's been stabbed.
He was impaled.
She had to drag him on a horse.
Getting old for this shit.
Rumor has it that the chick that was hanging from the tree by her neck is possibly Ellie's mom.
That's what everyone's.
Because you remember that part of the story, right? We don't know exactly what happened. We just know she got handed down to one of the Fireflies to take her to the medical, whatever. So and that's kind of like that's all we know.
So we're probably gonna get it back. We're probably gonna get backstory on her, which would make sense because we didn't get a lot of backstory on Ellie. We did with Joel because we played with him early on in the game, and we know what happens at the beginning.
Intro ever.
Yes.
Best introduction to a game I've ever seen. Nothing.
And it was set in Texas, so
there you go.
That's home.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can sit people who don't play games down and just kind of play through that first segment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I showed a lot of people.
I've always said The Last of Us is the only game that I've ever seen in my life where I can sit down and watch somebody play and have the same enjoyment as playing it.
Yeah. I've watched so many people's reactions to like the first intro of The Last of Us.
I cried.
It's emotional, man. It really. It's a movie. They need to make a movie, but they need to do it right, man. It needs to be like a 5-hour movie.
5-hour movie.
What about
Because I don't want them to miss any detail.
It's gonna be a Netflix series, Jake.
I know, right?
You know,
Hey, Sony, hey Yoshida, make that happen.
Netflix series. That's hilarious.
my wife detests games. I think she just humors me in my obsession with gaming. But
we got to meet up at Green Turtle, man. We got lots of fun now.
But I showed her. I was like, look, just come down and watch me play this real quick. And she just like, no, I want to. And I was just like, look, give me 5 minutes. And then you can go back upstairs and do whatever, but just 5 minutes. Just watch this. And then by the end of it, she was just enthralled. She was just like, I mean, she was sitting up. She was like, I mean, just amazed at, you know, the camera angles, the cinematography of it, you know, and she's like, it kept saying, you're playing it, right? You're moving the character, right? Like, yeah. And just like at the end when his daughter gets shot, she was just like, just so emotionally caught up that she actually, this is the only game that she's actually watched me play some of, you know. And it just kind of just goes to show the power of that opening scene. I hope they can try to match that this time. I think this sequel is going to top God of War as PlayStation's game of the generation.
Wow, you think so?
I think it will. Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is that you know, I think Corey Barlog said this, like just being around the guys at Naughty Dog, like Neil Druckmann, and talking to them, like there's like this it's friendly competition, but they push each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, if you think about it.
Look, Naughty Dog is known for being probably, you know, arguably the best developer ever. And then you had, you know, Guerrilla Games to come out and outdo them. And then you got, you know, Corey Barlog and Sony Santa Monica come out and do them. And now guess what? We still got 3 or 4 more games that are vying for that top spot. Like you can't buy that kind of, you know, that kind of camaraderie and competition within your own house. That's nuts, man. This is why I think they can't lose. And from what I hear with some early reviews coming out of Detroit Becomes Human, that game is doing like 9s and 10s and 8s. So,
really?
You're talking about hit after hit after hit after hit. I mean, can't lose at this point in time.
When is it? That game comes out this Friday. When are the reviews?
That comes out in 2 days.
The reviews drop tomorrow morning.
The reviews drop tomorrow morning. But, you know, obviously some going to leak, right? So
Twitter's going to burn. Twitter's going to burn tomorrow.
I'll tell you, man, if Detroit is more like Heavy Rain than Beyond Two Souls,
Heavy Rain was the better game.
I'm about a happy man this weekend.
What if that game gets in the 90s Metacritic?
God damn.
Jeez.
I don't think they can handle that, boy.
I would tell you now, if that happens, GameStop gonna be busy as hell.
That happens. Y'all get the popcorn ready tomorrow if that happens, because Twitter is gonna be lit.
GameStop gonna instantly lower their Xbox trade-in price by $100.
Oh man, not like that.
No, we ain't taking no more. No. Keep it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Hey, that's a great idea. Shout out to Ryan Landis. He said, "What if they made part of The Last of Us 2 playable in VR, like Resident Evil 7?"
That'd be cool.
Do y'all think that could work?
Maybe.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah. Other game, Ghost of Tsushima. God, when I saw that,
anticipated game from the Sony show. Man. I
cannot wait to see that.
I can't wait, man.
Feudal Japan. Listen, I love Sucker Punch. From like, say what you want about their stories, their gameplay to me is always
top notch.
Always on point when it comes to their gameplay. Now we got set up with Feudal Japan. We just got through playing Neo. You know what I mean? Not too long ago, and I'm ready to dive back in on what they showed us from earlier. And
looks like it's gonna be story driven.
Yup.
You know what's funny about that? I remember again. That was another one. I'm sorry, be minding me.
No, you good. Go ahead.
That was another funny one where they showed the trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, right? And people were like, yeah, but it's another gameplay trailer. I mean, it is what it is. It's like, no, if it's any indicator of what Infamous Second Son looked like at the launch of the begining of the generation with PS4,
right?
You can't sit there and say, well, we got to wait to see some gameplay and see what that's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what the overall art, game is gonna be, but as far as the visual standpoint, since it's all about visuals nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's stop it.
Well, yeah, Infamous Second Son is still a benchmark game, especially for a close to launch title.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, that game still looks amazing. And
I said no, Jay, no lie. I sent my boy a still of that game. He's like, yo, where you at? I was like, yo, this is from a game. He's like, he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But guys, doesn't this kind of give you fix that Onimusha itch you guys might have?
Yes.
And I'm not saying it needs to be like Onimusha, but it definitely
or Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden, yeah, another one.
It could be all of the above. But here's the thing, right? We know the developer is talented and don't put out garbage, so the track record is there. The worst it can do is end up like Infamous Second Son, which isn't bad at all. But I mean, with this story and with the time that they've had to craft and to build this and the knowledge that they know, I mean, geez, man, I can see this stuff. Obviously, all of these games, I hope, get sequels. And it's going to lead us into a whole nother generation. We're talking about PS5 having sequels to these games come out. So,
and you got to believe these games launch on PS4. Let's say 2019. That's the last year for PS4.
Yeah,
they're going to make their way over to PS5.
Oh yeah,
they'll do a remaster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh, they'll be backwards compatible.
I'm about to say, I think they're going to be able to get away with remasters.
Yeah. Well, at this point in time, right? They really don't have to do remasters. They have enough IP.
Excuse me.
They've worked out the relationship with Bluepoint. They have VR. They have all these indies, and third party and second party. They have all of these different variety of games to throw at you. They really don't have to have any dry spells. By the time PS5 launches, right, you're gonna have that replacement from Uncharted. Remember, Uncharted, they killed it off. So they're working on something totally different to replace that Uncharted. That's going to be prepped and ready for PS5. And then you have, Bloodborne 2 possibly ready for that. And then you have so on and so on and so on and sequels to the God of War. And so, I mean, we got to realize, I don't think they're going to just focus on, we hadn't even talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We haven't even touched any of those other games that's out there. So I think there's a lot of content that they could start the next generation off with. I don't think we're going to get a bunch of remasters like we did this generation. This generation, we had no choice because you had the PS3, totally different architecture. There was no way. It was really hard to port any of that crap. But obviously they had to pick and choose one or two different ones that they had to give us. But I think now they have the talent. A lot of these games are going to be moving over, probably cross-gen, backwards compat, probably forward compat. We don't know. But I mean, I think the next generation is setting up to be pretty good for the PS5.
Well, I think so.
Yeah, I think what you'll get too is that you'll get like a similar thing that's like what's going on with the X. Like, I definitely think they'll be looking at backwards compatibility, at least with the PS4. I can't speak for the past generations because of the architecture, but at least with the PS4, I think you'll have that. And they won't, like you said, they won't really need to work on remasters. All they have to do is pretty much unlock, more of the potential of enhancement of what they already have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was really, really excited for that. But now I'm like, it's not really. I mean, it's cool. I think they got a timed exclusive for Sony. So, and some of it may come out before, anywhere else. But man,
that might be a PS6 game, dog.
So that's gonna be a great nursing home game for us, man.
Exactly.
Real.
It's finally out.
I changed my depends.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see the TV.
The way they talk about that game, man, like I don't know when that thing coming out.
Man, but this is typical Square Enix. I mean, like anything they show, you just kind of when they say it's coming out X, year or whatever, you just kind of just give them that side eye, like really.
Yeah,
you just add 2 years onto whatever you just said.
15, which used to be Versus 13.
Yep.
And then that went through what it went through. Kingdom Hearts, we waited for the third one so many years, and even when they announced it, we still had to wait like another 5 years. Hopefully, it comes out this year. So it's like, damn.
And with the remake, they're trying to go episodic, and you can't even come out with the first episode. Come on, by the time you get done with the game, I'm literally going to have kids who had kids. I'm like, man, it's not even the first episode yet.
Hey, my daughter's 3. I think she'll be in middle school by the time.
Big shout out to Cognito Iron Lords in the house. He says, I need back compat on PS5 or I'm gonna have issues.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you now, you might want to hold on to that PlayStation 4 Pro a little bit longer just
to be safe.
You never know with Sony, man. You never know.
I think with the way digital games is this generation, like so many people, it would be crazy if the amount of money people spend on digital games and they don't transfer over to the next platform. That would kind of be wild. And that's why I kind of feel like it's almost no choice that they're gonna have to do that. They're gonna face backlash like something crazy if they don't. Yeah. Now you talk about like I know like with the physical games that was one thing, but it's like the digital, like you want to see that carry over.
That's a momentum killer. Like,
like Microsoft. Microsoft does that's a wrap. You know what I mean? Right out the gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've built up a catalog, and you want to carry those games over. I think I agree. Yeah,
and they made such a big deal about the whole switch to x86 and how it's easier to port these games. So
yeah, I expect it to be there. I hope it is.
This is something I think they need to do. I think this is one of the things I if they don't do, I'd be disappointed.
Well, there's kind of at this particular time, there's no reason for them not to do it. But here's the thing. I remember first part of this generation, everyone was crying. This game is going to hold that game back because they have to worry about this game, the 360, and then they have to worry about this. Will we get to that point where, the PS5 is being held back because they still have to cater to the PS4 Slim and the Pro?
What you mean, like, because
they try and make how developers do, right? They just cater to the least common denominator. They don't look at the X. That's a prime example. They're not really maximizing that thing. They're just making it for what it is, and if it let the frames run unclocked and let the graphics setting go to wherever it's going to go, and just leave it there. They don't create games specifically for the X, which is the PS5, brand new hardware. Mm-hmm. We will see them make games specifically for the PS5 and not cater to the back, to the back and forth, because we're going to get gimped games when it comes to the PS5. It's just going to be, a little bit higher frames, a little bit higher resolution or whatever on the PS5.
From a first party standpoint, I don't think we're going to see Sony like continue bringing out, like, say for instance, if Death Stranding ends up being not Death Stranding, say if Final Fantasy VII Remake ends up being like a PS5 game, I don't think we're going to see a PS4 version. I agree. We'll see a PS5 version. That would be it.
Yeah, that's how I want it to be. Right? There's an incentive to move up to the PS5.
Yeah,
because you can only get these games, and therefore, when a developer target a game for it, it's being used to its maximum potential, and that this game cannot run on anything less.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think any games that once the PS5 comes out, any new games that are exclusive to Sony's platform are only going to be PS5 games. But what I would like to have is to be able to play my PS4 games. So just be able to emulate the PS4 so I can go back and play God of War if I want to. If I can go back and play The Last of Us 2. Just give me that option, and I'll still, have the new games to play, and that would be the incentive for people to purchase, a PS5. So because it's like you want to play God of War 2 or whatever, or you know, the Bloodborne 2, you're gonna have to get that PS5 to do that.
Yeah.
I think what they'll probably do, because I've heard people talking forward compatibility or whatnot, and we know even less about what their next console is going to be than PlayStation. But I think at the very least, if they try to do some forward compatibility stuff, that it's only going to be the One X. Like, it's going to be whatever their new system is, and the One X will be like, you know.
Listen, we know Microsoft, man. They've already stated it. Phil is already on this. From here on out, all your games will be able to go forward, and you keep your library and all that. And I think with the Xbox 2, all your 360 games are going to be able to upscale to 4K and maybe 60 frames. It's going to kind of keep the same mantra going forward. Yeah. But we need to see this system maximized. We need to, like, when you look at God of War on your Pro or your Slim, you know that thing is maxing out every single T-flop that's in that system.
You ain't even got to look to hear that shit.
Exactly. When you hear something like police sirens, you know that them 4.2 T-flops is working.
Going to work, drunk about to take
my ex is quiet as hell. And it bothers me. I want to see this thing humming. I want to know that this can't be done on any other place.
I took my headset off a couple times. Like, is that on PlayStation?
Exactly.
That's the joke I made when people are like, you know, when my exes whisper quiet, I'm like, it ain't lifting weights. God of War, that Pro lifting weights, man. It's like,
dang. Exactly. That's like, God of War is a health hazard to those things.
You know what I'm saying? I said, I want a game that will take the X and make it sound like it's about to blow up.
Yeah,
hey, that game, God of War should have came with a sticker that says, make sure you blow out the dust out of your system.
I usually put my PS4 in like rest mode when I'm done playing. I had to turn that thing completely off. I'm like, yo, you need to be off. Just leave it. Just something off, man. Just relax.
It's a server room in here right now.
Right? Space heater up in my room, like shit.
You gotta see that Pro in front of the AC unit. But again, right? That just goes to show you where these games and the developer talent that the first party have to be able to make a game like God of War look that beautiful on the Slim. Never mind the Pro, but the Slim.
Yeah,
that shows you. Imagine with that talent you have with PS5 power.
Yeah. I ain't going for a lot of times. I was thinking like, damn, like the power of the Xbox One X. Like, what would some of the Sony developers do with that power? Like,
oh man, yeah. Exactly.
I was thinking that power. Imagine God of War.
Yeah,
imagine God of War 6 teraflops.
Oh man, you would have had probably twice as many people on the screen. I mean, from a detail standpoint, I don't know how they would have been able to make it more detailed. I mean, the game is already like, what can you honestly improve on in that game graphically?
Kratos' chest hairs.
I mean, if you just look at like the detail that they have in like his beard and like his facial hair, like it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
He breathes the cold air,
I can't imagine anything else visually that you could add. But if it was on the, I mean, I can see like the frame rate actually hitting 60.
Yeah,
you know,
I was thinking about that,
but I don't. That's something that bothers me, right? With next generation, I don't want it just to be a 4K 60. You got to come with something more than that, right? Yes, we can tell motion wise that hey, this game runs at 60 frames, but on the Pro now, there are games that run 4K 60. So, or even checkerboard is okay. I don't care less if it's native or checkerboard or whatever. It looks good to me.
As long as it looks good.
Yeah. So I was like, if you're just gonna give me 60 frames, if that's the only benefit that this system will have, I'm gonna be disappointed because I've become spoiled by the PlayStation graphics over the years that they've kicked out, and some of these, like the Uncharted, The Last of Us, and all these, Horizon Zero Dawn. They're gonna have to go that much more on the PS5. They're gonna have to really throw it over the top in order to wow us. I think that we're at the point of diminishing returns. How can they possibly I mean, we already have 4K 60 on some games. So let's say all games are 4K 60 next gen. What else? I mean, what else can they do, or how they're gonna be able to stimulate us visually?
8K.
Like me, for one thing, like I want to see like more livelier like worlds and like more interactive worlds.
I think we'll probably
better AI.
Better AI and stuff like that.
We're gonna see better AI and probably bigger worlds because the CPUs are gonna be better.
Yeah.
So
I could say more characters on screen, maybe more
NPCs. You guys remember in Generations those were the things that devs always talk to us about.
Yes,
like we can populate the world more. Now dudes are like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the game is. The first thing is it enhanced?
Yeah,
is it 4K?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Like, this game is called Bouncing Red Ball. Is it enhanced? I'm down.
Hilarious.
I kind of hope that with next gen, I don't expect to see huge leaps and jumps.
We're gonna go to our sponsor now, and
Enrique, that's the last interruption.
I told you, man, we're gonna have to get him out of here. We're gonna put him in the boys' room locker, the boys' head locker.
Boys' head locker.
No. All I was going to say is that I think we'll probably see innovation in AI and gameplay mechanics. Like I've always kind of imagined that one day I'll be able to play a game where it could be any kind of game, like an action adventure game or something, but a game where the game engine is adapting the story to what I'm doing, and so like my game could be completely different than someone else's game, and we know the hardware now can't handle something like that.
Yeah,
but, I'm hoping that one day that would be something that would be feasible.
Yeah. Well, hey, gentlemen, I actually need to wrap up the show a little bit, probably about 10 minutes before I thought I was really going to wrap up. My 4-year-old's up, so I got to get him back to bed.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, but
no problem,
J-Man, man, great having you back on, man.
Oh, definitely. I appreciate you extending the invite and chatting it up with you guys about what we love the most. So anytime you want to have me back, just holler at me, and y'all take care.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. And let everyone know where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, definitely hit me up on Twitter or YouTube at jmain518. You can also check me out every Thursday, 8 p.m. on that Press Start podcast. We will be going live tomorrow. So make sure y'all check us out. And that's about it,
man. Awesome. And Kratos, always a pleasure, man. We always love having you on, man. Always great insight. Thank you again, man.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
And where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at JDubCity16, keeping you guys laughing with the gifs and the memes. You know what I mean?
Dude, I can't wait for tomorrow the reviews.
If it's what I want it to be, I mean, come on, you know what to expect. Get the camcorders ready.
It's gonna be funny, man.
That meme game will be on point.
Oh
yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Slow-mo.
I'll wake up like this.
Slow-mo, thank you again, man. Always a pleasure, Slow-mo. For those who don't know, Slow-mo is actually our new co-host. That's why I'm kind of busting his chops a little bit,
Nice.
Yeah. So
I'm the little guy that gets picked on, now.
Guy, man.
I'm getting hazed.
Yeah, don't know that, man. But let everyone know where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, Slow-mo Backslap on Twitter, and you can also catch me on the Scumcast with Kratos as well. We normally air Saturdays around like 1 p.m. Eastern, but Luca says there's not going to be no Scumcast this weekend. That's because it's Luca. That could change in 5 seconds. So
who knows? We may be doing this Scumcast in the next 5 minutes.
Exactly.
That's hilarious, man. That's true. B Money, where can everyone find you, man?
Just find me on Twitter, man. B Money 101, and at your local game console, same gamer tag there, and you can find me on Tick Podcast when we resume recording very soon. So just follow Tick Network and check out the website there. It's going through a little rebuild right now, but shout out to everybody putting in that work. It's definitely coming together.
Yeah, no doubt. I got a link in the description below, so make sure you definitely check out the website. Some great content. And E. Jackson, what about you, man? Where can people find you?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter as well, EC Jackson with an X. And you can also find me also on Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock on The Gaming Perspective with Chick's very own Nick, Jared, and Sam Tolbert.
Awesome, man. All right. Sounds good. Well, gentlemen, I had a great time. Great conversation as always, talking about these gaming-related topics. And definitely looking forward to E3. Next week will be our Microsoft E3 prediction show, so you definitely want to check that out. We're going to have some special guests on for that as well. To my special guests that were on tonight, J-Man, Kratos, thank you again, gentlemen. And Slow-Mo.
What up?
Caps are going to Stanley Cup Finals, baby.
Caps are garbage. They're garbage.
They won? They won 4-0.
Damn.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, hockey scores?
4-0. How you like that?
This is the feeling I haven't.
Yeah, you can't. There's no room on the bandwagon.
I can't describe this feeling. What is this?
This is like Bizarro World, man.
Yeah, they won. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by and hanging out with us. Live chat is always great, always positive. Our fellow Tick brethren are in the house right now. The Iron Lords podcast. Definitely check them out. As remember, BRAP is now a official affiliate of Tick. So, all right. Oh, big shout out to Boar's Head. Don't forget to go to your local deli.
I'm telling y'all, he getting a big fat check at the end of the show.
Hey, man, I need my cut of that bag, man.
Exactly, man. We need to talk.
I don't remember nobody offering me no contract.
All right, everyone. Hey, everyone, have a great rest of the gaming week. And hey, enjoy that. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend, 3-day holiday. Get some more gaming in, and we'll catch you guys next week, Wednesday again at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button, everyone, and buy some Boar's Head.